Okay, so like we said at the beginning of the episode, we're really excited because we have a special guest here today, and we're doing another Disney Heart to Heart episode. And today's guest, we have Dr. Andrew Strickland, who is also known as the one and only Puppet Runner.
Hello,
How you
everybody.
doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Such a pleasure to be here with y'all.
Well, thank you for coming on. It was awesome. It's awesome to have you on here today.
It's great to be here. There's no greater gift than a chance to get to talk about Disney and running, and who knows what all else. That sounds like a good time to me.
Amen. Sounds good. So, since we're just getting into who you are, and our listeners get to know, all about you, could you kind of give us a rundown of, a little bit of your background, how you became the puppet runner, and just so our listeners can kind of get to know who you are?
Sure. I've grown up at Disney, and very literally, I was there in the early '70s in a stroller, and family was only a few hours away, and so I kind of grew up there. I didn't, and so I've always had a huge connection with Disney. I didn't have a huge connection with running at all. In fact, I was probably the worst runner in my fifth grade class, and it wasn't close. I was very, very bad at it. Like the arms would go a million miles an hour, and the feet just wouldn't work. But I had this desire to run, and I'm not sure why I had that. And so it wasn't until I was in my mid to late 20s that I started trying to put it all together, and not till my 30s that I finally got around to running in one of my favorite places in the world at Disney. So I'd run a good number of races at Disney, um, but I come from a theater background, so doing anything in costume sounds like an amazing idea to me. So I had costumed for some races, and I was finally going to have the chance to do the Wine and Dine race weekend. And I'm like, okay, I finally have a chance to do this. It usually falls at a time of the year when I can't. So I said, I am going to go all out. I'm going to costume for it. I also was a longtime collector of puppets. And so anytime I can find an excuse to buy another puppet is just great. And I saw that the 10K was themed to Remy and from Ratatouille, and I went, "Oh, this will be perfect. I will, I will buy this brand new Remy puppet that it just was in a limited release from a really great puppet manufacturer. I'll put on a chef coat. I will be Chef Gusteau. I'll have Remy with me, and we'll do it for a 10K. It'll be awesome, and I'll wear a different costume the next day to do the half marathon." Something insane happened. I, it was a completely different world running with Remy on my hand. I'm sometimes a little inside myself during races. I don't always talk to people. I'm too busy trying to stay alive and and coping with the pain and why did I do this and all those other fun things. But with Remy there, I was connecting with people. I was I was more connected to the full experience of the race. I had a natural chance to encourage people around me. And it was just magical. So I went back to my resort after that race and said, okay, I'm going to put the other costume back in the suitcase. I actually was going to dress up as Fife and Drum Mickey, who was the symbol of that race.
Yep. Nice.
But without a puppet, because I was like, no one in their right mind would run a race with a puppet, let alone a half marathon with a puppet. And I said, no, I got to do it. So I went back to the laundry room, washed the whole costume, dried out poor sweaty Remy, and ran a half marathon with him, and it was absolute magic.
Wow.
I had a chance to talk to Riley Claremont at the start line and be interviewed with Remy, and just the connections I made with people, the chance to, because if someone was like struggling towards the end of the race, I could go up to them, and because of Remy, I wasn't a stranger. I was this sort of Disney entity that could come and talk to them and encourage them and be part of their race. And it changed everything for me. It changed how I approached running. It changed how I feel at Disney. All of those things. I went home that week and said, this is what I'm going to do now. And
Wow.
that was the Wine and Dine in 2019. And I've been running with puppets, not just at Disney, but all over the place since then.
Wow.
And it has just become more and more magical as it goes. And it has been a blessing in my life, and I can't believe it happened from what was supposed to be a one-time costume thing, one time, and now it has become a thing.
Have you gotten really good feedback from it, or what kind of feedback have you gotten from it?
It's been overwhelmingly positive. I mean, there is some. I do have the people who look at me like,
Listen,
who start edging away. More so at non-Disney races. At Disney, everyone comes ready for the fun. But I have had it in other races. I had one woman walk up to me and go, "You're running with a puppet." I said, "Yeah." Right. That's unusual. You do you, I guess. And she like took off somewhere else. And you know, I've had some of that, but I have found that even the sort of staunchest critics can't get over one of my puppets waving at them or messing with them or just cheering for them. It tends to overcome a lot of those boundaries. In the Run Disney community, I'm still not sure how it happened, but I kind of became an accidental celebrity. Which I had absolutely no intention of ever happening. So I mean,
never underestimate the Disney World.
No. But I have thousands and thousands and thousands of people who know me, and know my adventures well, who I get to meet for the first time every time I go there, and it's an amazing thing. It's also a responsibility, because I want to make sure I am being part of that Disney magic, that I am honoring that Disney magic. I'm not a cast member, but I appreciate the ideals, and so it's important for me to run my race with the best etiquette possible, for me to do all the little things the best I can to encourage. It's a responsibility, but it's such an honor. And I mean, I've made so many friends from around the world doing it. My family members haven't run with me before. My youngest son is going to give it a try during Springtime Surprise this year. So
nice.
that'll be the
5K?
He's I couldn't get the 5K for him, but I got the 10K for him. He was thrilled. Oh, good, Dad. Now I can. I said, see, now you have to train. Yes. Yeah. But I've never feel alone at the races, because I have a massive Run Disney family, and it has gotten to be very hard in between the Spring Surprise and Wine and Dine each year, because one's in April, one's down in November, and that's a long gap to miss your Disney friends.
Yeah, we totally get that. Like we were telling you earlier, me and Jess just did our first Run Disney event, but what you had said about missing Disney friends, we have so many friends that are over in Disney, and we only get there maybe it's usually twice a year. So in that gap, it's like we miss all of them,
right?
So like we're going back in November,
back in February.
Yeah, so
back in April.
Yep. So
sorry.
Well, congratulations on completing your first Disney events. That's awesome.
Thank
you. I'll tell you, us old grizzled veterans of the Run Disney community, one of the things we love the most are the folks who are doing their first races. It's so much fun watching y'all experience the things for the first time that we did, and the magic of running through a park, the magic of running backstage, which is one of my favorite parts. I love running backstage and seeing things getting ready for the day, big Disney geek that I am, it's just that's one of my all-time favorite parts. And it's just I love watching watching new folks do it. And I know a lot of times new folks in the Run Disney community are always super nervous about it. You know, oh, I don't really know what to do. I don't know about the, you know, I'm not going to feel out of place. I'm like, no, just tell anyone near you it's your first race, and we will go, come.
I have a little panic setting in.
Join the Run Disney cult. Here we are.
Knowing that this is my first race with Balloon Ladies, I'm like, don't leave me behind. I need to finish this.
But the Balloon Ladies are sweethearts. They can
be sweethearts from a distance. Like, I need to finish this race.
They're the kindest people. They do their best. But saying that, this last year I had the chance. I had some registration bad luck on a couple of the weekends where I only got one of the races or didn't get everything I wanted. So I had made the decision to go anyway and cheer on from the sidelines. And let me tell you, that could have been as good of an experience as running, but I got to see the folks who were struggling at the end of the parade, and who were just trying to stay in front of the Balloon Ladies. And it was an incredibly emotional and powerful thing to witness. That's a real drama back there, and real folks trying to do the best they possibly can. And it's a powerful thing to watch, powerful thing to be part of.
Was that at Wine and Dine last year?
I think the first one I cheered at was at Marathon Weekend. And that was just, actually it was Wine and Dine last year, because I only had the half. And so I did the 10. So I cheered on the 10K, and that was great. And I think
I remember seeing you.
Yeah, the year before I had cheered on for the half marathon during Marathon Weekend because I didn't get goofy. So I had done that one too, and it was just it's as much fun as running the races. It really is. And so now I've tried to intentionally work into my season different ones I can cheer on. I'm going to be up there for Prince. I've never been to Princess Weekend. I'm going to Princess Weekend to cheer. I'm going to run the half, and I'm going to cheer the 10. If I can get up soon enough for Marathon Weekend, I'll cheer the 10. And I'm gonna do everything spring surprise. It fell during my spring break, so I don't have to get off work. So I'm gonna do everything. Why not?
There you go.
I cheered her on during the Princess races. And there were full-grown men running through ball gowns. I was like, I don't know how you do that. Like,
yes, no, I know one of them well. So,
do you have any new puppets that you haven't used yet?
I do. I have probably about 100 puppets.
Wow.
It's actually, if you count the ones I use in my classes and that sort of thing, it's probably even more than that. But no, I have a lot that haven't made it into a race yet. Actually, my newest one, I was in a production of Chorus Line last month, and I bought a puppet to commemorate that. He's in all metallic gold, like the famous costumes at the end of Chorus Line. He's actually a prince, but he reminded me of the costumes. So he is Prince Choreo. So Choreo will be joining me one of these days. Nice. But I do have quite a few of them waiting in the wings, and a few crazy ones. I have one I'm keeping a bit of a secret because it's going to be my surprise for springtime surprise, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be quite a shock for everybody.
For him,
it'll be it's 100% keeping with Disney, but everyone who knows me will get the joke instantly, and it'll be fun. But I'm not gonna give that one away.
Well, we're excited to find out who that one is. That's gonna be interesting.
See, I'm gonna rack my brain. I see
I'll tell you it's involving a very new style of costume for me to make it work. So
really, okay.
Oh boy.
Wow. Okay. That
It'll be fun.
really get the mind going.
I'm gonna know before you.
Unless he posts it on social media and then I see it.
Aw, rude. You're gonna be up at 2 in the morning?
Maybe.
How many Run Disney races have you done?
The like full events, I think I've done 31 or 32, something like
Wow.
that. If you throw in the like the Mickey Mile kids runs that I ran with my sons when they were younger, that adds a handful more. And when we still had the resort fun runs, I have run a ton of those. I don't know if you knew that those were a thing for a while, but a lot of the resorts had little shorter, 3Ks, 2 mile, that you would just show up at the resort that morning and run and get a like the one at French Quarter, you'd run and get beignets. And
Oh wow.
Ooh.
oh, they were awesome. They had they were just really like every resort was like starting to get one. They even had custom pins you would get for doing them.
Wow.
And then COVID hit,
Yeah.
and they really haven't made it back yet. So we're hoping they come
Yeah, I
back.
wonder
But
when
it was
they'll
a
come
it was a good like $10 or $15 entry level into running on Disney property.
Now,
So-
did you have to sign up for that ahead of time, or did you just like show up and say,
You
I
could
want to?
just show up. You could sign up with the recreation departments, but it started French Quarter. I think started it first, and Fort Wilderness has had like a 5K on Thanksgiving a time or two, but Beach Boardwalk had one, Yacht and Beach had one, Coronado Springs had one,
Wow.
and the All Stars had one at one point. So
Sounds fun. Just go from resort to resort and try to do their different runs.
yeah, we had one trip where they were each on a different day of the week. So if you set it up right and you were willing not to rope drop the parks, you could hit a different little race every morning before you went into Magic Kingdom or something. It was great.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Wow.
I continually work. Anytime I see anyone in the rec departments, I'm continually working on them. Come on, bring them back. We love them.
Yeah.
They're like nothing for y'all to do it. You brought out your lifeguards. They stood along the course and cheered. Some paper things, some paper bibs for people to put on. It was all fun and no prep. It was great.
Well, that's kind of like Castaway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That was fun too.
We're doing the
Similar
5K.
Similar vibe, slightly more organized than Castaway Key is now, which is basically
Okay.
go run and tell them you did it. That's what basically Castaway Key is now.
Okay, well, so to all our listeners out there, anyone going to Disney, make sure you go to the rec department and ask them to bring back the resort runs. Let's let them know we want them. Let's let them know we want them back. Maybe if more and more people start asking, it'll show Disney that they want them back, because Disney listens, and if they keep hearing people want something back, they'll get someone on it. So let's all work together and try to get them back.
Yeah, I think they can. I think they'll come back. It was just they were really getting successful when they had to stop. So
Yeah. It just adds a little extra magic to your trip. You say, hey, I got to, resort hop, but in a different fashion. Doing the runs, because I like to go to different resorts just to look around and resort hopping. And now if you add a little extra magic to it, I mean,
yeah,
cool.
Little fun snack afterwards, and
Yeah,
for
right.
those who are motivated by food, raises.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, we're all Disney people, and I think it's safe to say most Disney people, I think, are motivated by Disney food. Maybe.
Like some cheeseburger.
If you're
Maybe.
You're a health guru, like that's different.
I'm not a
Maybe.
health guru. It depends what it is. If they had that what is it, Tower of Terror cookie at the finish line, I'd be right there. That thing
Oh,
was amazing.
That was a good cookie.
I didn't like it.
I never tried that. It was a crazy looking one.
Yeah.
Oh, it
was
was so
pretty.
good.
Yeah, it was. If you like Gideon's, you'd like this cookie.
But see,
Oh,
it
I
had
like
white
Gideon's.
chocolate in
So
it.
you'd like this cookie.
Oh,
It had white chocolate in it. I'm not a fan of white chocolate, which
Yeah.
is why I didn't like it. But
Yeah, I believe it had milk chocolate, dark chocolate, and white chocolate chips in it.
it's a lot
So
of chocolate.
and the cookie itself, as you could, because you saw it, right? The purple, how purple it was. Yeah, nice and purple, and it was soft in the middle. It was just so good. So
Yeah, it
good.
looked
That's a whole
great.
new
I would have.
story, but in your opinion, what separates a Disney race from the rest of the races? Any race out there?
The thing that I think a lot of like regular runners mention with Run Disney is how many first time runners are there always, which is a big difference. And I think that's one of the highlights myself. I think there's probably a few really hardcore runners who find that off-putting, that there's people who are still learning the etiquette of running and that sort of thing. But I think that's the magic of it. A lot of those folks that I have the pleasure of running with are doing their first and only race. They have it's a one-time thing for them, and they've chosen to do it with Run Disney. And so there's a lot of that going on where this is, and so that makes it a huge deal. When you run as many races as I have, not just at Disney, but period, they're great experiences and they're valuable to me, but they're not like a once in a lifetime, I'm going to get around this course for 13.1 miles today. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do that. That's powerful. And that's energizing. Obviously having the characters on the course, having, running through theme parks is certainly magical. I'm such a Disney geek that I'm in love with every part of Disney. I like World Drive. Okay. I'm on World Drive. I'm easy to entertain. But there's also a spirit at the races that a lot of us have bought into the magic of Run Disney. The fact that it's for different things than running for the best time. It's having the best time, not running the best time. It's connecting with other people. It's a 13.1, 26.2 mile long party with your new best friends. And I mean, I use when I post before races, I like posting a picture on in social media from the corrals. I'm often saying, I'm so excited. I'm here with 15,000 of my best friends, and here we go. And that's
wow.
And there is a family atmosphere there. Now, I will say that I have found I've run races in a bunch of states, bunch of places, and I find that runners tend to be extremely generous, kind people. Anyway, I mean, I've had people sacrifice, having a great time because I fell, and they would stop to pick me up on a trail race and make sure I was okay. And that is the rule, not the exception. And but I think at Disney, that all gets cranked up several notches.
I ran cross country in high school, and I had a lot of people, like, if you fell, they would just swoop up and pick you up in the middle of the race, like, without even stopping.
Yep.
And as someone who did a Run Disney for the first time, I was like, this is my one and only time doing this. I should have known that wasn't going to happen, but the energy that was the first experience I had with Run Disney was watching Becky run. And I saw her run through Magic Kingdom in front of the castle, and the amount of people cheering people on that they didn't even know was so uplifting. Like, the first person who came through, people were like, yeah, go ahead, you're doing it. And he had the biggest smile on his face. He was eating it up. I was like, that's so nice.
Yeah.
And then you had people who were tracking their people, and of course, like, you couldn't get to the front, but people were like, oh, my person's coming by. Can I switch up? And they'd be like, yeah. So they let you in.
Yeah.
And that's not something you'd get somewhere else. So it was really nice to know that people are like, oh, absolutely. They're coming. Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And then they'd move and they'd be on their way.
Yeah. I have to say, everything you said as a first-time runner, just a first-time runner at any event, but I mean, I chose Disney for a reason because we love Disney, and Disney nerds, Disney geeks, Disney adults, whatever you want to call us. But everything you said is on par. Like, I couldn't believe how accepting the Run Disney runners were, or even people, the cast members working, or the volunteers, or just the entire event. I was blown away.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of the hype. I've seen vlogs, and I've seen it all through, through other people, through the eyes of other people. But to experience it through my own eyes, I was literally just mind-boggling.
We really want.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
no,
we
I
really
agree.
want everyone there wants everyone to succeed.
Yes.
Everyone wants it to be magical.
Mhm.
And we fall over ourselves to try to make that happen for each other, and it's hard to beat that. And what's really cool, I talk a lot of people down off a ledge, who are non-runners, and who have found out that they have accidentally scheduled their vacation during marathon week or something like that. They're like, okay, I'm gonna have to change my reservation. I'm gonna go another day. I mean, the race is gonna be off. I'm like, breathe. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. And I said, do this for me. Go anyway. I said, it's not gonna impact you any more than going during spring break or anything like that. There's gonna be a few more people there in January than there usually are, for marathon week. But especially for the races that actually go through parks when they're open, I said, be in that park that day and watch what is happening with these people running by. And I dare you to not feel touched, moved, inspired, tempted to join them, all from just watching the drama of them running past you, especially if you're watching back a pack and watching folks doing amazing things they've never done before in front of you. I have more people that I have told that to. They've gone and they've come back going, that was one of the best parts of my trip, was even as a spectator being part of that energy. And some of them come back and they have to lace up the shoes and try it themselves, because it's just special.
That's powerful. I mean, that's powerful to know that you're telling people just to go there anyway. I mean,
yeah,
it's the thought that thought went through your mind is powerful, because now they're encouraged to, like you said, probably like, I want to be part of that.
It's interesting because, when I signed up for that race, I was like, it's not timed. I'm going to stop at every character stop because I want to see the rare characters. And I didn't stop once because I hadn't run since high school. And once I started going, I was like, oh, I feel pretty good. Like, this is going well. And like, I'd be like, oh, there's a nice character, but they have kind of a long line. But you know what? I'm feeling good. I'm going to keep going because I'll probably not stop. And I think I stopped for one thing that had no line, and it was the ship for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
And then I kept going, and I was like, yeah, I didn't stop for one character, but the whole time I felt great. I was like, this is fun.
Yeah, but speaking of energy, Brian was not prepared for the party that we have at 2 a.m.
I was like, wow.
Wait.
He was like, what is this? There's a stage.
Like, it's a party before.
The whole getting to a Run Disney race and starting the race, I call it the race before the race. In fact, I often will position myself, after you've done this, so you know the drill. For those who are listening who haven't done this before, you're basically dropped off at where the buses come into Epcot, so you can go through security, and then you walk all the way past Epcot
because you're not doing enough,
way into a parking lot, and you have literally done about a mile and change by the time you get to the staging area. And so I've, over the last few years, I have like planted myself at the entrance to the staging area with my puppet friend, and I've cheered people on, congratulating them for making it there. I'm like, congratulations, you've completed Disney's race before the race. Congratulations, you're on.
The first time I did this race, I was walking, I was like, my goodness, are we there yet? Like, where are we going? Like,
But then you get in there, and there is a party going on. There's a
Oh yeah.
it's fun to look at all the costumes and see people go by, and of course looking for running Jack or jogging Jack, and
yeah.
It's great. I think we sat there for a long time just people watching. It was pretty fun.
Jack and I have an ongoing relationship of chatting with each other, and anyone it's gotten funny that if someone can catch the two of us in a picture together, they think they've won the internet. It's the funniest thing. Like, oh my gosh, it's Puppet Runner and Jack together. So
I didn't see you guys together, but it's funny because I ran into jogging Jack, took his picture, went into my corral, and I was standing right next to you. So I'm like, okay,
you almost pulled off the double. That's awesome.
It's funny because like that same time, I think it was the same time, we said, okay, we'll see you at the finish line. We walked off. Not 3 seconds later, she runs into Jack, and I'm like, oh,
literally 3 seconds. I was like, okay.
I was like, that was the one person I wanted to see.
Yeah, Jack is great. No one has the character dedication of jogging Jack. So
oh yeah,
he is
a legend.
Wait, what's your favorite Run Disney memory?
It's probably still that first weekend with running with a puppet for the first time. It's hard not to go with that. I mean, my very first marathon there, dressed as Tigger back in 2008, was amazing. There was some drama around that with me forgetting my timing chip and all sorts of other crazy stuff that like raised the stakes of that one.
So did you have a puppet with Tigger, or
no? That was 11 years before of running at Disney before I got around to trying a puppet. But no, it's that first puppet weekend was the best, and because all the other weekends just seem to attach to that one since then to me. So it's because it just changed everything. It's hard not to go to that.
Yeah, life changing, literally.
Yeah. Did you say who your first puppet was? Was it Remy?
It was
Remy. It was Remy.
Right.
Yeah, that's so cool. But yeah, it's kind of going back on the.
Who is here, of course.
What?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Remy.
He's so cute.
How you doing, Remy?
Making some ratatouille?
Camera's up here, buddy. Oh yeah, okay. You found it. Okay.
Oh, I should get Noelle. She'd be so excited. She loves Remy.
You are not
cooking
shy.
anything good?
He's not shy. No. I took him out of the kitchen to bring him here. So.
Oh, what'd you cook for us?
That's a little too on brand. Ratatouille, really? Kind of expected, Anything else? Okay. Stick with what works, I guess.
All right. Well, where's my ratatouille?
I mean, he's become such a star. He even has people bring him friendship bracelets. So he's
oh, that's sweet.
He is I always laugh when people come to talk to me when I have Remy. I'm like, okay, look, I know you're here for him. It's okay. I fight for when people go, oh my gosh, you're a Run Disney legend. I said, no, here's the Run Disney legend. I'm the legend's transportation. And it's a good job. I will take it.
Does Remy get to wear your medals?
Remy, yes, I am going to tell them. Remy steals my medals.
Oh.
I think Remy should get his own medals.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he should get his own medal too, so I can have mine. The only time he doesn't steal the medal is when we get a challenge medal. Then I get the challenge medal, and he gets the race medal. But that's become a thing. He claims that he deserves it because he's my coach. He gets me uphill, and that he always beats me.
Well, as long as he feeds you.
Technically, that's true. He always beats me by a nose. Look.
Now,
Look,
Remy is
it
the
worked for you,
mascot
okay?
for a race for Wine and Dine, right?
He is for the half marathon.
Are you doing the half?
Oh yes. How
Is
could I
Remy
not?
coming?
Well,
Well,
of
there's a
course, Remy.
rule. There's a rule with Wine and Dine. Any race I run at Wine and Dine, I run with Remy.
Okay.
Other races, Remy will generally allow me to get away with at least one race without him. But Wine and Dine is all his. Yes, all yours. So he will be with me. He will be with me for that one. In fact, since the race is themed to him, we have a special. I have a special new costume coming for that one, which is themed to La Ratatouille, his restaurant. So I actually have a whole La Ratatouille chef coat, like I got to work at his restaurant, and so we're doing a full. We're finally doing a costume fully themed to him again instead of to everybody else, which is what we've been doing lately. We tend to. I have about a rainbow of chef's coats now. It's been fun to do tributes to famous restaurants from different movies or restaurants on site or on property, and that's been fun. So we're honoring his restaurant finally, and for the 10K we are honoring Tiana's Palace.
Ooh,
since it's themed to that, and we're getting our Tiana gear ready for that one.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, that would be cool to see.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing because he is the like you said, the legend, and everyone wants to see Remy.
Yeah, if I don't bring him to at least one Run Disney race, I hear about it the entire race weekend. So
yeah.
And I can't go to a park. I can't go to Disney Springs without him with me. Especially,
you're very well loved, Remy.
Yes, he is. So I have a little backpack I can wear that his head sort of peeks out the back. So he's always there ready to meet his adoring fans.
Okay.
So, he's a good guy that way.
What Run Disney events do you have on the schedule?
I'm running all of the Disney Walt Disney World weekends this time. So I'm doing the 2-course challenge for Wine and Dine, the 10K and the half. I'm doing currently the non-goofy for marathon, which is what happens when you get the half marathon and the marathon, but not the goofy.
Gotcha.
So the goofy sold out just as I was putting in my my credit card number. So wow. Hey, I like the medals. I don't run it for the medals, so it's not that big a deal. That doesn't keep me from stalking, every time it opens, trying to get the upgrade up to Goofy. But at least I got the 2 races, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Listen, as long as you set your alarms and you make it to those. We had this one girl when we went in April. She posted that she slept through one of the races, and she didn't get the challenge medal because she slept through one. I was like, oh, that's so unfortunate.
But then on Princess Weekend, I'm doing the half marathon, cheering on the 10, and then I'm doing everything at Spring Surprise.
That's exciting.
Nice. Yep.
I will be doing everything Springtime Surprise as well.
All right.
Jess is doing the 10-miler with me.
Okay, I thought I was doing the 10K.
Nope, you're doing the 10-miler.
Going,
Surprise!
And I am doing my first marathon for marathon.
All right.
Yeah. I'm terrified. I'm excited, but terrified.
Will that be that's your first ever marathon?
First
not just
ever.
For Disney?
Yeah.
Ever.
You want to talk about things that change you? The first marathon changes you.
All through. So now that I've hit 13 miles, that's the furthest distance I've ever run so far. Tomorrow I'm running 15 miles in practice. But I just keep getting so emotional. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. But even training is emotional. I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this.
No, it's tackling a marathon is people think about how physical it is, and it is physical. There's no joke. it's more of a mental challenge than it is a physical challenge. And
Yes.
and people have to learn that when they start working on a marathon. You have to, because it takes a strong brain to get through it, even if you're trained. It's a long way. 26.2 miles is a long way. And in some ways, I think it's even harder for those of us who aren't putting down, Olympic, low 2-hour times, because we're not running as fast, but we're having to maintain it for hours and hours and hours. It's a huge mental challenge. It's a challenge, and I probably shouldn't say this to you because it'll scare you off, but nah, I won't. But it's a scary thing the first time you see that 20-mile marker and you go, I ran 20 miles. And you're having this little party, and then that little thing in the back of your head goes, and you have a 10K left. I have seen people break down at the 20-mile marker. I mean, have an emotional breakdown because I have a 10K. I'm gonna die. No.
See, that's when they should be playing the Almost There from Tiana's.
Yeah. Although Almost There to runners is not a nice thing because and people are
great those 20 miles, but
keep going.
People mean it so well when people cheering on races, but if you ever have a chance to cheer on a race, you're not a race person. Don't tell runners you're almost there. We're not. We're not almost there. No matter where,
unless I can physically see the finish line, I am not almost there.
Unless you are about 2.5 feet from the finish line, I am not almost there.
I mean, I can't say I'm going to run a marathon, but as soon as I saw the Epcot ball, I was like, okay, I'm almost there. And then I heard the music, and I go, yeah.
You are, as a runner, you are allowed to define almost there for yourself. But the other one I like is, you're looking good. I said, you're a liar, but I love you. I know what I look like. It's okay.
I remember coming back that the 10K that I did for Springtime Surprise, and I was eating one of those like Honey Stinger wafers, and I come around the corner, and there's a photographer right there. I was like, that's going to be a wonderful picture of me stuffing my face.
Yeah, the real Run Disney pros start setting up their pictures well. And the really, really good Run Disney pros do it without killing the people around them. That's one of the funnier Run Disney things is the little green pop-up tent in the distance, which means there's a thing. And everyone starts like trying to get in front of you, trying to get to it and trample you as they get to it. So you have to learn how to get to the things while supporting the runners around you and not.
I just learned to kind of hi.
I posed a little bit for mine, so
you posed a lot.
So my thing so it was my first one, and Becky told me, hey, it's a 5K, have fun with it, enjoy it. Like, this is, you don't have balloon ladies chasing you or anything, so just have fun with it. So me, I'm a Disney nerd. I like to go stop for the characters and say hi, and I'm just kind of a social butterfly. So I stop for a few of them, and so because of that, I was towards the end of the runners. I wasn't dead last or anything. There was still some behind me, but because of that, I didn't have tons of people around me, so I was able to like thumbs up the camera or kind of just.
Oh, he had beautiful pictures with like nobody in the background while I'm over there like a little sardine. Like, hey.
I spend the whole time coming towards the finish line, setting up a space. I will actually drop back to find a gap in the crowd because I have a tradition. I don't know if you've ever seen any of my finish line photos. But I have a tradition of doing what in dance we call a bell, which is a big aerial heel click, and I've gotten it to be a bit of an art form lately. I've hit a bunch of them and gotten great pictures of them, but I do have challenges with gravity, so it takes a bit of a run up to make it work. So I'm always like, okay, can I do this? Because I don't want to take out anybody. I don't want to mess up their picture. Okay, there's an opening. Yay! Here we go. So yeah, it takes some planning. In fact, I ran a local race last week, actually a cross country race, and I actually did my jump at the finish line. I said, well, I got to practice it. You know, Wine and Dine's coming up in a month. I have to start. You want to practice everything so you can do it well.
That's awesome. One of your trademark moves. Yeah,
you got to
part of who you are.
Well,
one of these days I'm going to blow it and just go flying and rolling across the line, and then I'll have some really those will be,
when we were filming him.
And I have no shame. I will put them up everywhere. I'll go, look at this. I completely did a face plant on the finish line. Yay!
When we were filming Brian crossing the finish line, we told him, we said, stick to this side. This is where we're at, so we can get you crossing the finish line. So he comes in, he waves at us and goes the other way towards Mickey, and he's like, Mickey! I was like, what?
So I wasn't prepared for. Yeah, I wasn't prepared for all the festivities going on at the finish line. So there was so much to look at. There's Mickey, they're on the other side. The announcers are over here. Cameras are over here. I'm just like, wow, where do I go?
we said, stick to the left side so we can get you crossing the finish line. And
he was like, bye.
That's something that we did while we were there, because with like we're telling you with the podcast, we also do vlogs. So we tried to show people the different areas of a Run Disney event. So we brought everyone through a vlog. We brought everyone to the expo, and then they went to the yoga. I did not do the yoga, but
I haven't tried that yet either. So
yeah,
my first yoga position was laying on my back and almost falling asleep.
See, I could get behind that. I could definitely.
They had a full show.
Oh yeah,
it was crazy.
It was definitely really cool. It's just like while you're waiting for it to start, everyone's just like,
yeah.
Another morning to get up early. Yay!
Yeah. So
I got up this early to stretch.
So we didn't film there. They took some pictures and they took a few video clips, but we didn't really vlog that. We talked about it. They took video clips. Might be a little weird that someone's filming people doing yoga too. So we kind of we kind of refrained from that. And then then I vlogged while I was running. So the camera we have keeps everything level. You'd never know I was running. It looks like I was gliding because the camera keeps everything level. So people could see through my eyes, a first-time runner doing 5K.
Yeah.
So they were able to kind of see that.
Someday I'm going to run with a camera, because I would really like for people to see just how cool the reactions are and just the amazing exchanges I get to have with people as I run. It's just, I would love to be able to share that sometime, but I kind of have my hands full. Literally. So I've tried it out a little bit for little local stuff, but I've never done it with Disney. But I think it would be a really cool thing to share, because it's a special time out there.
Yeah. I mean, they do make chest mounts too. Mm-hmm. Could always do something like that, or they even have things that go on the shoulder now too. There's all kinds of different things now that can really help. They even make it in glasses, sunglasses. It's amazing what they have now.
So, but I think that only requires.
I should just put one in Remy's hat, and then
there you go.
That would work.
We can have the Remy cam.
There you go.
He moves a lot. People would get seasick watching. I mean, he is in constant.
I mean, you would think that, but I saw this video the other day of this mom who put a camera on her daughter when she went to Disneyland, and she filmed it, and it was Disneyland from her kid's point of view. It was so interesting. I was like, you know what? Maybe we should do that. We should put a camera on one of the kids and just get their point of view of what Disney looks like to them.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Sounds very nostalgic to me, running around and seeing everything so big and so moving up above you. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, in regards to seeing runners' reactions for their first run Disney race, like you were talking about before, I told Brian how important it was to experience it from a spectator point of view, so you can see those reactions coming across their first finish line. And from what he said, it was really cool. I mean, I watched theirs and it was awesome. A lot of people start with the 5K for if they're doing their first race, if they're not athletically inclined. I don't know. Like Brian hadn't run race before, so I'm like, start with a 5. You know, there's no pressure. It's all fun. And seeing those reactions are really cool.
Now 5K is what, 3 miles?
3.1.
3.1.
I went from a 5K to 10 miles. What am I thinking?
But so so I also vlogged the spectator side of it, what it's like to be a spectator. So we're at the finish line with the camera, seeing people cross and the reactions, and it was really cool because you could tell who probably have never done it before, and seeing their emotions run wild when they cross that finish line compared to somebody, you know, like the first runners. You could tell who the first runner, you know, they're the most athletic and they just breeze right through it and, you know, put some arms up. And then you got some people, and then you have the other people who are like, I've never done this before, and then you see it in their eyes. They're looking at the finish line. There was one guy who actually just stopped, and he pulled off to the side, but he just stopped and just looked at it, like he couldn't believe he was at the finish line. And it was amazing to see, you know, him just stare at it. Like he knew he had to pass the finish line. And I know that, like, when I was running, it was like I had such a great time. I couldn't believe I was at the finish line. I'm like, wow, I'm actually here. But then I'm like, as soon as I crossed that finish line, the event's over. You know, and I just had such a great time. I was just like, wow, it was just such a memorable moment. So everything that you're saying about people's reaction, I mean, it's definitely on point. You know,
but the marathon runners are like, finally, it's over.
You know, it's funny because as someone who does a first time run, like you don't realize exactly what your face looks like as you're crossing that finish line. Like I couldn't remember, and I was like, oh gosh, I probably look terrible. And then I saw my photo, I was like, oh my gosh, I look so relieved I'm crossing, and I'm like, oh, this is great. But like, I was like, oh, okay, well, what was I doing here? And she's like, it looks like you're crossing the finish line.
I do say still that even after all the years I've been doing distance running, that one of my favorite parts of running still is stopping.
Yeah.
Still one of the best parts of running is stopping. It's like, I've been done with this for a while.
During my practice runs, a lot, if I'm on a treadmill, I'll watch other people doing the marathon, and I run when they run. And it's just funny because everyone's like, oh, would you do another one when they're done? They're like, don't ask me today, ask me in like a week, because they're just like, I'm so happy that's over.
I have a good recommendation for folks who haven't done a marathon before and want a way to get the distance without the stress, and that is to look into, it's what I did before my first marathon, look into the time races, like the 4-hour races, 8-hour races, 24-hour races, where basically you just run a loop course for that amount of time and you stop when you have either the time's up or you have as many miles in as you want. And I actually did my first marathon distance on a 24-hour race. But it was great because I had no pressure. You know, I could run 2 miles and then go and have a snack. I could run 4 miles and take a nap. I could, you could do whatever you wanted. You just, you had to do the distance, and it took the pressure. And I knew I had done the distance. So when I did my first legit marathon, I knew, hey, I know I can run this far. And actually, I think that first one I ran 30 something because I had 24 hours to do it, and I stopped like hours before it was done. So that's I always think it's good to have done the full distance before, even if your training program doesn't include it. I know some don't. So
yeah, I've been following the Jeff Galloway plan, and it does go up to 26 miles.
Yep.
And I was like, well, I don't want to do a marathon before I do the marathon because I want it to be special. But then I was listening to, I think it's 321 Go podcast with Carissa Galloway. Yes. And she was saying how important it was to get up to 26. So I'm like, oh, that means I'm doing a marathon before the marathon. I don't want that, but I guess I'll do it.
because it's not in race. It's not in a race. So it's a training run. It's not a marathon. So you can tell yourself that if you do it that way. But I'm glad you're doing the Galloway because he does do the 26 miles. Some of the plans only take you to like 22. And basically say the adrenaline will carry you through the last 4. I'm a big fan of you can do the distance before you get to the race. No, it's from my theater background. We rehearse everything. So we rehearse everything. We leave nothing to chance if we can help it.
Yeah.
Wow. That's some good advice. That's really good advice. Definitely. Wow. So now we'd like to get to a second part of like what we like to talk about, and that's some of your favorites. We're going to talk about like, yeah, a lot of people have fun with this. A lot of our listeners and viewers like to hear about some of the favorites that our guests have. I think that's a common thing with Disney people. They're like, oh, well, what's your favorite this? What's your favorite that? So we like to take this chance and kind of get to know a different side of you. We got the Run Disney side, we got the puppet runner. Now, what does the puppet runner like to do with different favorites? So
that's good. Lay it up.
All right. So what would you say is your favorite Disney restaurant? Because we can talk about food a little bit.
Ooh. Within a park, it's Beer Garden. I love Beer Garden. German food and a show, gotta love it. But my top favorite is Art Smith's Homecoming.
Oh yeah,
I am in love with that place. Barely edging out Boma.
Boma is incredible.
This much over Boma. Those are Homecoming and Boma. And it's great because I don't have to have a park ticket to get to eat at them. I just have to show up.
Yep.
So I get to see a lot of them. And especially when I learned that Homecoming often has, like, right when they open there, you can often walk in and get a table. So I have family in South Florida so it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to drive by when I'm going down to visit family, when I know that I could probably pop into Homecoming on the way. Yeah, but I could gain 1 million pounds at Disney because I could rattle off 20 more restaurants that I love. But
yeah,
those are the tops.
Those definitely are some heavy hitters. I mean, we've done Homecoming quite a few. I think we've done that like 5 times in the past.
That chicken salad sandwich gets me every time.
Yeah.
I got a sampler.
Yeah. It's the chicken fried steak for me. It's that big, massive, 2 foot wide, 2 foot long.
Yeah.
Steak.
Yeah.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Disney snack?
Favorite Disney snack is the carrot cake cookie over at Studios.
This has to be we're gonna have to try it because our last guest said the same thing.
And I could randomly cover my eyes and point at anything in caramel kucha, and that could make my list too. Those endless what is that? That gingerbread whoopie pie they have over there at Caramel Kucha with the salted caramel. Whenever that's on the menu, that's insane. But there's just something about that carrot cake cookie, and they've made me work for it by moving it from restaurant to restaurant over the years. I fell in love with it when it was over where Baseline Tap House is now. What was that? What was it? Writer's Corner? I can't remember what the name of it was then.
Yeah.
But that's where it was, and then it's moved over to Starbucks. But if it's there, I will find it.
Well, we're gonna have to try it. I mean, I like carrot cake depending how it's made.
It's like the greatest whoopie pie ever combined with carrot cake. It's fabulous.
Well, it's gonna be on the list because that seems to be a popular one. So we're gonna have to try that because we haven't tried that yet.
Yeah, I'm not a snack person, but those when we go to what is it, Edie's Ice Cream on Main Street, they have those big cookies with the ice cream in the middle. They're like this big.
Those are good.
Yeah,
those
I'm like,
good.
there's way too much ice cream in this, but I'm gonna eat as much as I can.
Yeah, those. If I had to make a Magic Kingdom list, that would be on that one.
Oh yeah.
That and the waffles. So the like the Nutella waffle with the fruit on it over from Shady Hollow. Those are.
I want to try that.
That one's.
That
good
sounds
too.
really good. Yeah.
I like the bacon on a stick.
Oh yeah, there you go. I have never tried that. I've almost tried it a couple times.
Delicious, but you'll feel really bad after. Eating, go, wow, that was delicious.
Okay,
Oh
that's
my
like the
God.
spring rolls. I feel terrible after I eat them, but I'll eat them every time I go.
I just ate a big, thick piece of bacon on a stick.
The only thing that saves me from the spring rolls is the price, and that only
You don't look at the price. It
that
doesn't
only
matter.
that only saves me a small percentage of the time.
What's your favorite Disney attraction?
I'm sorry, say again.
Your favorite Disney attraction?
My favorite Disney attraction, I will, no matter what they change the name to, I will call the Wedway People Mover. I will call it that forever. I'm sorry, the Tomorrowland Transit Authority. And that's a childhood nostalgia thing that I can't shake. There's just something soothing about that ride.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing the people going about their day. I love popping into the rides. I love the views from there. I love taking pictures from it. I love the glimpses of Space Mountain with the lights on that you get to see sometimes. It
gives you a nice
and I keep waiting to get tired of it. And thankfully I've raised my family to love it as much as I do. And there's rarely a too bad a line there. And so it's always oh gosh, everything is so busy, but look, Wedway or Tomorrowland Transit Authority, yay! We'll ride that for 10 times right now, and I can't shake it. And I'm a big thrill ride guy. I love roller coasters.
Yep.
Drop me off hills, lift me up and drop me, spin me around. I love all of that, but no, it's got to be Wedway.
Yep, I love it.
You know, it's funny. My son is 7, and for the past couple years, every time we enter Magic Kingdom, we're going on People Mover first, right? Yep, sure are.
Yep. My
raising him right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. my two favorite are right there. I love Carousel of Progress and I love People Mover.
Yep, I love Carousel of Progress too. I'm all for that.
It's the Disney nerd in us. You know, like it's one of those just original classics that even though we weren't there for when it first came out, there's still so much nostalgia. Walt helped create that attraction. Like there's just so much behind it that I could see it time after time and like you said, never get tired of it.
Yeah. I have a very similar feeling about Carousel of Progress too. That's why I loved Horizon so much when that was at Epcot, because it was basically the sequel to Carousel of Progress. It was that story continued, which was very cool to me. So
that's awesome.
I'm still in mourning for Horizons. So it's been gone for decades, and I'm still in mourning for it. So
yeah.
I like People Mover. I think it's a great ride to just take a minute and enjoy the sights, get a cool breeze. And it's even better if you have a little one because they will crash 90% of the time on that ride.
Very true.
Oh no, for Colton it was Small World. He was like, I'm out.
Okay, 2 songs over.
I'm also a big Living with the Land.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or Listen to the Land, as I was in Epcot the first year it opened as I think as a sixth grader. I think I was sixth or seventh grader, and I know that one from way back, and it's always been. I don't know. I used to make my teenage friends go on it with me. Like, oh, we're gonna go look at plants. I said, no. We're gonna go do it. Come on, come on. Come look at plants with me. It'll be awesome. It's basically Epcot's people mover to me. So it's the
yeah, that's true. That's a good way. Yeah, definitely true.
What is your favorite Disney movie?
My favorite Disney movie is Robin Hood.
Ooh, okay.
You don't hear.
That's I've almost any time I tell people that they go, really? I was like, yeah, well, I'm old, and but also it was just it's just such a delightful little movie. It's funny as all get out.
Mhm.
It has what I think is the greatest villain sidekick ever in Sir Hiss, who is underappreciated in Disney merchandise as far as I am concerned, because I think he is awesome. It's just a beautiful, funny little piece that I could watch over and over and over again. So I love them all. I could watch just about any animated Disney 10 times in a row and still enjoy it, but it's Robin Hood.
They also have some. I have to say, Robin Hood probably has some of the best one-liners in it too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's been years since I saw Robin Hood. I mean, but the kids have been getting into the older Disney. Like the other day, they asked me to put on Hunchback of Notre Dame, and I hadn't seen that in years. And I sat down and I watched it, and I kept giggling through it. I'm like, oh. I never caught that as a child, but that's kind of funny. Like, the things you catch on to as an adult, you go, oh.
Disney, and I think it's because of Walt Disney's point of view that these should be shared experiences that adults and children enjoy. You definitely, when you go back and watch a movie as an adult, you find that there's a whole nother layer that they have included just for you to appreciate the movie in a completely different way than you did when you saw it as a kid. And I think that's one of the coolest things about Disney's animated catalog.
Yeah. So earlier in the episode, we asked you about your favorite Run Disney memory, but now we're going to kind of tweak that a little bit. What would you say is your favorite Disney memory?
There's two that come to mind, a childhood and an adulthood one. Okay. Childhood, my favorite resort at Disney is Fort Wilderness. And back in the day, they used to have a steam train that ran through Fort Wilderness. Okay. And you could just, similar to the train in Magic Kingdom, a slightly smaller gauge track. And you could ride around Fort Wilderness on it. You can still see parts of the track there now. It's kind of fun. I actually have a spike from it as a souvenir. Oh, wow. But when my mom and I were actually talking about this earlier today. I think I was 6. My parents let me ride it all the way around the campground by myself. They pinned my little ID onto my shirt, and they let me do that by myself at age 6. It was a different time.
Yep.
I'm thinking if I would allow either of my sons to go on, something like that by themselves, and I'm not seeing it happening. But but for that trip all the way around Fort Wilderness, I was the king. It was all magic. I was on an adventure in the greatest place ever. And as always, that always comes back to me. I was like searching out the pieces, the bits of track that are left, because that was so much to me.
Wow.
The adult favorite memory is my wife and I were, before we had kids, we hadn't been married for terribly long. We were in the Magic Kingdom on one of those days when the rain hits. It's not a very busy season anyway, but then the rain hits, and we were in Frontierland, and it was empty. It was us and nobody else in Frontierland, except for a very bored Donald Duck, who was over there, even feistier than usual because he had no one to visit with. So we had this whole massively extended interaction with Donald Duck. I think it was like on the steps of the oh gosh, what is that? The Crystal, not the Crystal Palace, the Golden Horseshoe.
Yeah, the Golden Horseshoe. Yep. Okay. Yep.
It was right over there, and we just had a time, and then we just went, splashing through puddles down the middle of Frontierland with nobody else around, and walking onto rides, and it was like it was ours. It was like for that brief moment, the Magic Kingdom was ours, and that was just amazing.
The king was back.
Yeah.
You were the king on the train. Now you're the king of Magic Kingdom. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was something else.
Like they say, a rainy day at Disney is a lot better than a rainy day at home.
Right. No doubt.
And rainy days at Disney, you just got to make the best of it. That's exactly what you guys did. And sometimes you get the most magical moments from that.
Really do.
I saw some videos of people they had some rain going through, and it was kind of flooding a little bit, and people just jumping around, and kids on their back flailing around in the water, like they were just having a good old time at Disney.
In the water,
yeah,
it's funny. It rained on us as we went through Magic Kingdom on the marathon in January, and my favorite picture of me from the entire race was I'm coming out of Storybook Circus, obviously running through like these instant puddles that appeared. The water is splashing everywhere. Remy is literally shrugging in my hand, like, okay. And I am grinning like a loon, and I look so happy, and I'm like, I'm in the rain at Disney again. Yay.
Oof, but sloshing through that, like your shoes must have been so soggy after that.
I was trying to put all the blister worries aside at that moment. And, I was okay. I had taken precautions. I was okay. So
there you go.
I think about that. And I go, if it ever rains to the point where I could splash in a puddle during Run Disney, you can bet your butt that I'd run in front of a camera to get a picture and just do a full-on stomp into that puddle.
Yeah,
that'd be a great photo.
It was great, I have to say.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Wet feet.
That's awesome. Going back on your first memory as a kid, we were telling you we're going back in November. We're actually taking a day outside of the parks. That's our first full day there. We're not going to go to any parks, and half the day is going to be spent in Disney Springs. The other half is going to be spent at Fort Wilderness. We're going to rent a golf cart. We're going to drive around, go to Tri-Circle D Ranch and just really explore Fort Wilderness. And we thought it'd be a really cool time to be able to do that.
What are you doing that?
What was that?
What time of year are you doing that?
November.
Oh,
next
awesome.
month.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. So we've never visited Fort Wilderness, so we thought, you know what, it would be awesome just to take a day, and we'll do some Disney Springs, and we're also going to do some Fort Wilderness and just kind of explore.
I was checking because I'll be camping there for a week over Christmas.
Oh, really?
And, we're site decorators.
Oh, nice.
As you might expect. So
right. That's what we're hoping, that we'll see some sites decorated when we're there.
Hopefully. Oh yeah, you will. They start early.
Cool, because it's the first week of the Christmas party, so we're hoping that maybe some people are all excited and ready to go, and we'll decorate their sites a little bit.
Yeah, you'll get to see a little bit of it. I'm pretty sure.
Nice. So I'm gonna ask you probably I consider one of the most ultimate Disney nerd questions, I guess you want to call it, because I'm a big Disney history guy. I love Walt himself. I read about Walt, and I like to hear other people's take on this. But if you had a moment with Walt, whether it was sitting down having a cup of coffee or walking one of his parks, it doesn't matter what park it is, and you had the opportunity to ask him any question or conversation you wanted to have with him, what would that be?
I think my first instinct would be to say I'd love to walk with him through Epcot and see his take on that, since it's such a massive change from what he was hoping for.
Yeah.
I've gotten in some great fun arguments with other Disney friends because I think he would like it, and they adamantly think he won't. And but it makes for a fun argument. I just think he would. It's not what he wanted or dreamed of, but I just think he'd like it. That would be fun. Yeah. But from and this comes maybe more from my professional life, but I'm a theater director, have been for a very long time, and one of the things that I think is underappreciated about Walt is what a good artistic leader he was, and how he could look into people and see abilities that they had that they could use in areas that they'd never used them before. Wow. I mean, the number of stories about him going to someone going, "You're going to do this for us." They're like, "I don't do that." He's like, "Yeah, you're going to do that." And he had this what I think is a true gift for seeing artistic potential in people. Mm-hmm. And I would love to know how that worked for him, how he identified that, what gave him these feelings about these people, what had he noticed in the way they did other things. It's just, I find it, I think it's an underappreciated facet of his success.
Yes,
is not just that he was incredibly talented, which he was obviously, but he had a real knack for putting the right people in the right place, and then figuring out what they needed. I mean, he could be a challenging boss, but he was a boss who was always trying to push you and your art further. And I have endless respect for that, and I would love to hear his take on that.
I totally agree, because it's almost like he knows more about them than they know about themselves sometimes. Right. Like, I know you have this in you. You may not know it, but just go do what I'm asking you to do, and you're going to come out the other side like, wow, I can't believe that actually happened.
Yeah, and he did that so many times with so many people. It's way beyond fluke status.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I like he did was he would, if he saw two people who really didn't get along, and I was reading about this, and I was like, that is really cool that he did that. If he saw that two people, whether it's in the same office or whatever, they just didn't get along, he made them work together, because he thought that two minds that were opposite would come out with really good ideas. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that is a very different take on what most companies would want. Most companies are like, well, if they don't work well together, then keep them separate. Him, he's like, no, you're going to work together. So that's really cool. I think, your Epcot conversation would be a pretty wild one too, because I agree. It's
it could go either way. I will admit
it could.
You could look around and go, what in the world is this?
Yeah.
But he liked World's Fairs.
Yep.
And there's essentially one in the back. So I don't know. He loved looking at the future. So
Agreed. I mean, he may appreciate the fact that they just, even though he had passed away, like, they still honored his Epcot idea through, okay, it's a different vision, but they still honored his idea in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, since we're the Hearts of Disney podcast, something else we like to ask our guests Now, there's no right or wrong answer, but it's, to you, what makes a Disney heart?
It has to be a heart open to magic. It has to be a heart open to sharing that magic with those around you. It has to be a heart open to wanting to be told a story and wanting to be part of the story. And that's
awesome. Yeah. Yep, definitely. Totally agree with that. And I wish more people would be more open to those things in this world, because I think the world would be a much happier place.
I agree. It's one of my favorite definitions of theater is that a bunch of strangers go into a room and together they dream the same dream. I feel much the same way about Disney. Is a bunch of strangers go into this place and our other lives are left behind for a moment, and we are dreaming the same dream. And
I love that.
The folks who buy into that are the folks who get Disney.
Yes.
And those are the folks who get it. Are the folks who are willing to let the other stuff go and to dream the dream.
Yep. Totally agree with you there, because I wish more people would go to Disney not in the vacation mode, but ready to experience the magic mode.
Right.
And I think if people could do that, they would experience a whole nother Disney. Because so many people are like, well, it's just Disney. You're going to another theme park again. It's like, no, it's not just a theme park. It's not. It's this incredible place that, you get to experience magic every single day you're there. Like, you don't think about the outside world. The outside world, it doesn't exist while you're there.
That's right.
So
it's a special place, and I've been to a zillion theme parks. It's not just a theme park. It's not.
Yep.
It's just not.
I agree. Agreed.
Yeah, we decided to get passes to another park in our area, and every time we go, we're like, this isn't it.
Yeah.
This does not work. It doesn't put you in that, like, the Disney bubble, you go in, the sights, the sounds, the smells, like it's a whole community,
We have one about an hour from us that shall remain nameless that I just get grumpy every time I go in there. It starts the moment I see how poorly maintained parts are and the utter lack of theming in other places, and the cheap shortcuts other places, and I just start going, I'm not going to go into it. This isn't Disney rant today. I'm not going to go into it. This isn't Disney rant. But this isn't Disney. Why am I here?
We went to said park a couple weeks ago, and we were looking at one of the rides, and we both looked at each other and go, Disney would never.
I try to keep myself from doing that, because I feel like I'll just make the people around me hate Disney by being a snob.
It should give you the want to get to that point.
Yeah, but you feel safe when you're at Disney.
Yes.
And you go to these other places, you're like, okay, I have to make sure I bring a low profile bag just in case, because anything can happen. and yes, things happen at Disney too, but it has a way of making you, like, I stay on property every time. They have the transportation. Like, I know where everything is. I know how everything works. And there's a sense of safety in that.
And there's a sense of magic. If in the resorts, there's a sense of magic. There just is. It's that's a hill I will die on arguing with people. There's just a difference. There is.
Well, like you said, you're running on World Drive, and it's magical for you. You know,
it's World Drive, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
I heard that Typhoon Lagoon parking lot is a whole different ballgame, though.
I'm when we get near marathon weekend, I have a whole campaign planned to. We all, as a Run Disney community, we have to change our attitude about the Blizzard Beach parking lot.
Oh, is it Blizzard Beach, not Typhoon Lagoon? Blizzard Beach.
It's Blizzard Beach.
Okay.
We don't get anywhere near the the other side of the world over near Disney Springs. They keep us away from there. But no, we do a full lap of the parking lot of Blizzard Beach. When they first took us to Blizzard Beach a few years back, they actually took us into Blizzard Beach, which was cool, which was very cool. Actually, that day was very hot. I wanted to jump into the lazy river and enjoy myself. But no, but it is tight in there. You know, the paths aren't as wide, so I understand why that was a one-time shot. But here's the thing, and this is what we have to do. We just need to make that parking lot our party zone. We just have to all plan that when we get there, that's when we just have a huge celebration, because we see so many of us, because we're in this big square, and we have a big out and back right outside it too, where that is where we need to be high-fiving each other and cheering for each other and complimenting costumes. And you know, we need to get a chant or a song or something going in there that just becomes our tradition. Because if they're going to keep sending us there, we might as well make magic while we're there. We might as well.
Now, I do have one question for you before,
sure,
we get off the topic of Run Disney. What are your feelings of the changes to the course? Because I know a lot of people are disappointed they're not ending with the World Showcase.
What, with the marathon this year?
Yeah.
Or upcoming?
Yep.
I do really like that run through World Showcase at the end, but I have to say I'm kind of excited about running by Seven Seas Lagoon. That's very cool. I like the full tour we're getting of Magic Kingdom. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed to be hitting ticket and transportation as late as we are, because that used to be like the first place you really saw people during the marathon. So it was always kind of a cool, thing to look forward to. But now it can be a little, there's also, there's some sadness when you leave Magic Kingdom. Oh gosh, Magic Kingdom's done. I'm going to run forever before I get to Animal Kingdom. So there is that, the energy at Ticket and Transportation is always great. So we'll have a little pick me up after we've left there, which I think is good. The course has changed over the years. We used to have two different courses. I mean, back in the day, one group would go through the front of Epcot, the other group would go through World Showcase to start with. And then you'd meet up later on. That's how they handled. That's before they started the wave starts. That's when we all started at the same time, and that's how they spread us out a little bit. So it's changed over the years, and I'll miss that run through there, because that was the celebration lap.
Yeah.
But I do like that we're doing it at the beginning. I do like there's something World Showcase in the dark with a little glow on the buildings and the lights over the water. That's really good too. That's really good. So I think we're getting fair value both places. I'm more annoyed that they're still not giving us more of Hollywood Studios.
Yes, that's disappointing.
I mean, don't blink or you will miss Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, because you come in through Tower and then come right out, right?
We come in through Fantasmic, I think, and we hit Sunset Boulevard, and then we pop off even before we leave Sunset Boulevard. We go out that little side shortcut they sometimes use for parties and stuff there on the side. Yeah, we don't even make it to anywhere near the center. So yeah, we used to see a lot more of studios years back. They've kind of made studios though a specialty. The tour of the studios is now a specialty in some of the other races, like Wine and Dine. We see most of Hollywood Studios. So I think they've just saved that and made it special for other races, which is okay. I'm an endless optimist. You're not going to find me complaining much. I'll be there with my peeps. I'll be fine no matter. They could run me through every parking lot and I'd probably be happy. I don't.
My thought was they were trying to get people out of World Showcase before the park opened because it tends to get, hectic. But I've also never done the marathon, so it's just speculation.
It was. I mean, they did have to take up, half of the pathway, through World Showcase for runners, and there were often some unhappy park goers trying to squeeze through the space on the other side, trying to get to where they were going. So I get that from a logistics standpoint. But I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good.
It's awesome. Well, Andrew, I have to say it's been a incredible honor to have you on our show today. The Run Disney celebrity, the puppet runner. We were so happy when I first started talking to you and you said you'd love to come on the show. We were all excited that you wanted to come on the show and chat and just chat about our favorite things.
I was thrilled to have the chance to talk with you. I'm the puppet running. One of the best parts of it is I've had a chance to meet and talk to so many great folks who have this, who are part of my tribe, part of my Disney tribe, and it's good. It's good to touch base with the tribe when you're not actually in the parks. So
yeah, definitely. And hopefully maybe one of these days we'll be able to meet up in the parks at the same time. I mean, I know they're going to be at the Springtime Surprise next week. I won't be there, but they will be. But I'll definitely be doing another Run Disney event, so maybe there'll be times we'll be able to meet up in person and just actually see each other in person, which would be awesome. So
I'm looking at starting to do some meet and greets, trying to set up some for folks there, because I couldn't find you. I was like, well, maybe we need to start planning better and not just hope to run into each other every time. So
yeah. So but before we end this segment, is there any encouraging words for anyone that wants to do a Run Disney for the first time, or just come to Disney in general for the first time, or whatever? Like, do you have any encouraging words from the puppet runner himself that any of our listeners or viewers could have?
Definitely. From the Run Disney standpoint, yes, you can do that. You can do the miles. Relentless forward momentum. As long as you're moving forward, you're getting near that finish line. You don't have to be fast. You will not be judged. We don't care. I mean, I have run some very fast marathons in my time. You can run faster than me. I will cheer you on. You can be 3 hours slower than me. I will cheer you on. We are there to enjoy the magic together. Don't be self-conscious. If you're worried about not knowing what to do, turn to either side of you and ask, and someone will appear and be thrilled to help you and be with you as part of your journey. You really can do it. And you will feel such an accomplishment, whatever distance you choose to do. If it's your only race, it'll be like this amazing memory. It probably won't be your only one, because you're going to fall in love with it. It's a magical time, and it's different from any other experience you'll have at Disney. So it's full of joy. It's healthy. Look at that. It's a added bonus. You get in shape while you're at it. But no, you can do it. You will love it, and you will not stick out like a sore thumb. You will find a new family.
Awesome. I again, thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, my great pleasure.
So where can any of our listeners or any of our viewers find you? Do you want to put any plugs in for any of your social media pages or anything that you have going on?
Sure. I'm probably most active in the Facebook community. I'm on the various different Run Disney groups, but I do have a Puppet Runner page where I post my sort of nonstop adventures there. Also have puppetrunner.com, where you can see some pictures of some of my running friends and keep up with some race recaps when I get around to writing them, which I'm way behind on. Also on Instagram at puppet_runner. I don't know why I made that one different. I'm Puppet Runner, run together as one word everywhere else. And always love hearing from people. I talk a lot about in the Run Disney community. I feel like everyone's gotten to know me so well. I share a lot about my struggles with weight loss and things I found successful, and we try to navigate those sort of challenges together as well. And it's just it's a great community to be part of and get some Disney magic along with your running.
Awesome. So for any of our listeners or viewers out there, we'll make sure to put all his links down below in the show notes, so that way you guys have direct links to bring you right to those pages that he was talking about. So again, Andrew, or the Puppet Runner, thank you again so much for coming on the show. It was such an incredible time. We had a blast. It was fun. Really just getting to know you.
It was a great honor to have a chance to chat with you all today.
You too. Thank you very, very much again. And we'll talk to you real soon.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.